a time in your life you can be cool. Then there come a time you gotta act a fool to get results.
What happened? Wait! Hold up! Wait a minute! Wait! Madea! What? Madea, what?
Where is my food?
Who's there? You should have right here!
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tunji's podcast. I am your host, Tunji Taylor Lewis. Guys, for this episode, I have to go after one of my heroes. It always scares me to do this because these are the types of people that I dream of working with one day. But I guess part of, having admiration for, certain people in their entertainment and having an admiration for certain people who you look up to and you idolize is being critical of them and sort of analyzing what you like about them and what you don't like about them, what you like about what they're doing, what you don't like about what they're doing. I'm here to talk about Tyler Perry. And this might not be a fresh take. This might not be a hot take. This might be something that a bunch of people are thinking, but it's not something that I necessarily see a bunch of people like saying out in public. So I guess I'm just gonna come out and say it because genuinely what I think. I think Tyler Perry, man, has fallen off hard. And by the way, when I say Tyler Perry has fallen off, I'm not talking about Tyler Perry, the executive or the owner or the studio owner. As far as that, he's good. As far as real estate, as far as having ownership of property, as far as producing shows that make loads of money, he's good. That dude has generational wealth. We all know that. We all know about his amazing ability as far as building up his career independently and not through the Hollywood machine, and how he's made so much more money that way and had so much more cultural influence that way, at least when he was at his peak. When I say that Tyler Perry has fallen off, I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about him as a writer, director, as an artist, basically, when it comes to the films. It is just not pretty to watch. I think the latest example of Tyler Perry falling off was the film that he came out with recently called Nobody's Fool, the movie with Tiffany Haddish and Omari Hardwick. That movie, and Tyler Perry's movies, haven't been good for a long time, but, I feel like now it's at a point where it's starting to reflect itself in the box office. People are just no longer interested in going to see his movies. We're a lot more interested in seeing his inspirational speeches than we are seeing his movies, because, his movies, man, are just not relevant to today's day and age. It feels almost sacrilegious to say. And I would even go as far as to say that as a black actor, if I had a choice, right? If I had a choice between these three black directors, Tyler Perry, Jordan Peele, who produced Get Out and Us, and Ryan Coogler, who produced all those Michael B. Jordan movies, Black Panther and Creed, I would go with Jordan Peele first, because every time that dude puts out a movie, it's a huge cultural moment. I would go with Ryan Coogler second, and I would go Tyler Perry last. Tyler Perry, being in a Tyler Perry movie does not mean the same thing that it used to mean in 2000. I don't even know how long it was, 2007, 2008. Yeah, man, it's just not the same. I was a Tyler Perry fan when he was still doing plays. We got a comment right here that says today_tomorrow. It says he's no longer thirsty for money. I believe that has a lot to do with it. I believe that Tyler Perry, when he was still on the come up, when he was still struggling, when he was still putting forth his best effort and really analyzing his audience and really trying to bring his audience value, he was creating amazing stuff. When it came to the Medea stuff and and when it came to Meet the Browns and Diary of a Mad Black Woman, he was just creating stuff that even if the story didn't relate to you personally, you could still feel it on a real level, and it was just absolutely hilarious and original, the stuff that he was coming up with. And I just feel like, over time, maybe as he got more money, maybe as he became more successful, you see it all the time with people who like get to a different level. All of a sudden, they I guess they stop being around, they're no longer a part of the people that they're trying to entertain, right? And like, especially when you're doing comedy, especially when you're trying to create humor, you have to have an intimate knowledge of your audience. Like, I feel like with drama or with other genres, it's okay to like have a bit of a distance between you and them, and to like have that distance. But when it comes to humor, when it comes to making people laugh, you have to know your audience so well, and you have to be a part of it. And like, money and success is like, unfortunately, a huge barrier of that when it comes to, comedy and entertainment. Yeah, man, it's it's and like, I think a big part of Tyler Perry's success was his ability to innovate. And it's much easier to try to innovate when you have nothing else to lose, when you have nothing going for you and you have to try to find your way into the entertainment industry. In Tyler Perry's case, when he's dealing with, racism, when he's dealing with the fact that Hollywood isn't embracing, Christian values, because he was very, very overt with his Christian values back in the day. When he was just trying to find any and every way to find his way in, he was innovating like crazy. And I think that he may be innovating as an executive, but he's no longer innovating as a director and as an actor and as a writer. And that shows, because it's just like, the same, tired old plots over and over and over again. You have like, the regular, black lady, or the put together black situation, and then you have the crazy auntie, or the crazy cousin, or the crazy sister, or the crazy grandma in Medea's case, you know what I mean, that acts all black, you know what I mean. And like Tyler Perry has certainly evolved as an executive, but not as an artist. And when it comes to the world of entertainment, like, we've seen this over and over again, like, you have to evolve, because if you do not evolve, you're gonna die. And as an artist, man, as a director, as a writer, I just feel like he's like just fallen off completely. I thought like something funny that I observed when I was watching Nobody's Fool was like he was like a lot of like the introductory stuff throughout the movie, like a lot of the graphics in the movie like had all of those like speech bubbles that you would see in like iMessage and text. And I was just looking at this thinking to myself, like, okay, like that would have been like an ahead of the game thing if this were, 2009, 2010, but it's 2019, like, you're not really like looking ahead here, like, you're not really like looking ahead here by, having all those speech bubbles, you know what I mean? Like, that's not really innovating, but I'm sure in his mind, he was sort of thinking to himself, well, yeah, like, no, this is what people are doing nowadays. Let's incorporate this thing. But like, we're already past that. Like, we're already moving on to like different things. Like, like that's no longer a new idea, is what I'm saying. And Tyler Perry used to be all about new ideas, new ways of doing things, new ways of pitching TV shows. Yeah, man. Like, for me, at this stage and at this level that I'm at, I think I just have a really big appreciation for people who are able to produce art that is just as good or better than they've ever produced it, even as they become more and more successful. And of course, and unfortunately, in the case of Tyler Perry, I believe he's just completely fallen off. And if I were managing him, which I'm not, obviously, but like, I would just look at him and be like, look, stick with the motivational speeches, stick with being this amazing executive and producer that you are, but as far as directing and writing, unless you want to go back into the trenches, that career is basically done. So that's my thoughts for today. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.